and welcome to the show that puts a name to a face.
And then puts that face onto a canvas. Well, our artists do that bit, of course.
And they should be pretty good at it by now. It's the semi-final of Portrait Artist of the Year. Over the last 8 weeks, we've welcomed over 70 of the UK's best amateur and professional artists, painting the portraits of some of our most well-loved household names.
You should have seen the gasp of delight when your name was mentioned.
Amazing.
Yeah.
After all these decades. Thank you.
I want you to make me look younger than Joan.
Whoa!
My goodness, how have you done it in 4 hours?
You've made me look like a Bollywood star from the 70s.
After winning their heats, 8 artists were selected to continue the journey.
I didn't expect this at all. I'm shaking right now. Just really happy. I can't wait to the next stage.
Today, they have their sights set on the final and the chance of a £10,000 prize to paint celebrated violinist Nicola Benedetti for the Scottish National Portrait Gallery.
But first, they'll need to impress our judges.
For me, it's all about risk. Where's the excitement? Where's the edge?
Oh, you play high stakes.
And with just 3 places available, the artists will have to battle it out.
I'm still wrestling.
No, I'm all for wrestling, as long as you win.
Yes.
If they're to be crowned Portrait Artist of the Year.
It's my birthday in a couple of days, so it'd be a brilliant birthday present.
Oh, OK. Nice emotional blackmail. That's good.
Of the 8 artists who won their heats, 3 are amateur. Mark Oliver, Raya Johnston and Cat Hughes.
I've been preparing for today by stressing out in my room and avoiding doing any art because it's terrifying. So I'm going to try and challenge myself to come up with something new today, but I still don't know what it is.
And 5 are professional. Callum Stevenson, Gabriella Cohen, Lucy Threlfall, Christos Samaris, and Sarah Harvey.
Oh, I'm dead excited about today. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I got loads of sleep and I've had my coffee. I'm ready.
The artists are returning to the familiarity of Battersea Arts Centre, but they're discovering a very different-looking set from the heats.
Wow. Wow, what's that?
I don't know. Is it a gong?
At least it's got some, like, good light coming off it.
I'm not loving the pink. I think I might change the pink. Yeah.
I like all the lines, though.
Who's going to strike the gong?
Bong.
Today, we've made the set a bit of a challenge for the artists. Not only is it sort of structurally something to think about, it's also personal to the sitters. So they've got to think about what the set says about who they're painting.
I have no idea what to take from this. It's giving me yoga vibes.
We've got 8 fantastic semi-finalists, some a bit out there, some more traditional. So the level of competition is pretty high this year.
The atmosphere is quite serious. It's a bit more intense than the heats. Everyone's very much in their zone.
Now in the semi-final, we want to see consistency, but we also want to see innovation. And that is what today is about, and it's quite a challenge.
Artists, congratulations on making it to the semi-final. I can see you're all itching to get going, so I won't keep you in suspense any longer. Your sitter today is a drummer from one of the most iconic bands of all time. He's performed to vast audiences all around the world and on some of the best-selling albums in the history of music. A total petrol head, he's raced at Le Mans without hitting the wall. You don't have to wish he was here, because he is. Please welcome brilliant musician and co-founder of Pink Floyd, Nick Mason.
Wow.
Welcome. It's your home for the day. You're known principally for two things, I suppose, Nick, being a drummer and racing fast cars, both very high-energy activities. How are you going to find sitting in a chair all day?
Maybe a bit of a challenge.
A lot of nervous energy.
Drummers are well known for fidgeting a lot.
Right. Talk to us about the Gong.
Well, it's part of the kit, and we've actually carried the Gong on tour with us for nearly 50 years now.
OK. Drummers, of course, are often at the back of the group, you know, sometimes willingly, sometimes reluctantly. How are you going to find being at the focus of these 8 artists today?
Well, I'm hoping I'll enjoy being at the front rather than the back. Yeah, finally, after 50 years.
Right, artists, you have a fantastic sitter, you have a fantastic set, you have 4 hours to paint your portrait. I wish you all good luck. Your time starts now.
Must feel a bit peculiar. It's all pointing at you.
Having shaken off those first-time nerves in the heat, today's artists know the importance of a quick and focused start. But confronted by one of the best drummers in the world, one artist is feeling a little starstruck.
Wow, blown away. I'm 2 yards away from Nick Mason. And it's such a monumental set. Yeah, try not to be too awe-inspired.
Mark Oliver is an award-winning illustrator from Worthing. In both his submission and his portrait of Chris Packham, the judges loved the way he used strong geometric lines and shapes while still remaining faithful to the likeness of the sitter.
Mark, hello. Semi-final day.
Yes, exactly.
How are you feeling?
I'm calming now. Just sort of trying to settle into it.
Yeah.
And,
what did you think when your sitter emerged in front of this extraordinary gong?
An extraordinary man in front of an extraordinary gong, yeah. I love the immediate geometry.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would have gone much bigger, 6 foot by 5 foot.
6 foot is not going to happen in 4 hours.
It's true, but there's so many wonderful things.
Yeah, but I guess you guys show us time and time and time again that you can get gravitas and monumentality in smaller works.
Yeah, I hope so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
The composition I've chosen is very side-on, bang in the middle. I'm working from a photograph, so I'll occasionally have to refer back to life to make sure that things look right. I think I'm quite good at capturing a likeness normally. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Callum Stevenson is a professional artist from Bonnybridge, Scotland. His heat portrait of actor Kelly MacDonald concentrated solely on the head, winning over the judges with its cool elegance and perfect likeness.
Callum, I sense there's more energy in you today than there was during the heat.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I'm going as fast as I can, that's what's happening. Experience from last time tells me I need to be quicker, so...
Where did you find you spent too much time last time?
Probably the drawing, yeah.
OK.
Painting as well, yeah. Everything, actually, yeah. Let's be serious here. Everything. I'm just not sure if I'm going to use the exact colours that we've got before us yet. I'm going to figure that out as the painting goes along, I think.
OK, cool. It certainly is Nick in all his glory, so I'll let you crack on.
Thank you.
Nick, it's great to have you here sitting for us. How does it feel sitting on this platform with a lot of interesting people painting your portrait?
It's rather thrilling, really. I mean, to actually be centre front is terrific.
What are your expectations?
Well, the thing I'm conscious of is that my sort of default face always looks a bit more depressed than I feel. So I'm certainly hoping to see things that I don't recognise in myself immediately.
And some surprises, perhaps.
Well, hopefully.
Revealing Nick's inner character may be the aim for some artists. But portraits of high-profile figures often reference something of their public persona and profession.
So, Gabriella, I'm seeing these two sort of very beautiful Polaroids sitting up on the top of your easel, thinking to myself, you're playing it quite straight. And then I've seen on the tablet, you've really gone to town.
Yeah, and obviously hands are very important to a drummer. I wanted them to be up there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe I'll try and make it more stylized than realistic.
Wow.
I feel like now's the time to take all the risks.
Gabriella Cohen is a fine art graduate who uses technology to manipulate and add interest to her work. The judges thought her circular portrait of scientist Maggie Adair Pocock at the Heats showed real promise and was both distinctive and playful.
And we've given you a gift, haven't we? We've given you a circle.
Yeah, yeah, I love circles. I thought I'd go bigger for the semi-final. My last two paintings were quite small, so I'm pushing myself to paint on a larger scale.
But seeing your fellow competitors work on the wall, it's quite different from yours.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that that's in my favour.
OK, so does it make you feel that you can be even more extremely Gabriella?
Yeah, I think now is the right time.
Good, well, be brave. We want to see the best of you.
Me too.
Kat, you have the treasured profile angle here.
Yes, he's got a great nose.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Pink Floyd?
Yeah, my dad drags me to see the Australian Pink Floyd tribute band every year.
Oh, wow.
I texted my dad and he's geeking out.
He must be beside himself. If he takes you to a tribute act every year, you've got the real thing in front of you.
He did tell me to call my palette my saucer full of secrets. Yeah. Thanks, Dad, for the joke.
20-year-old Kat Hughes is an aspiring filmmaker from Liverpool. Her portrait of actor Jacob Fortune Lloyd in the Heats used a fisheye lens photograph to distort his features and create tension. But today's sitter calls for a different approach.
It's an interesting contrast, I think, because it's quite a melancholy portrait, but he's this rock star car racer.
Yeah.
I want to put a lot of energy into it.
Right.
I also really wanted to show the judges today that I can do things other than the fisheye thing.
OK, how are you finding today?
I feel like it was a strong start, and now I'm just mashing paint onto it and hoping for the best.
Come on, Kat. You've probably still got a few jokes from your dad up your sleeve.
I'll crack them out if I start crying and panicking.
Yeah,
So
in between sobs, you could throw out your dad's half-baked gags.
The artists are almost an hour into today's semi-final challenge.
So I've kind of drawn on what's here. I'm happy with the composition, and I really like yellow and pink together. I'm just hoping I can pull it off.
The competition is scary. I'm glad I'm not standing next to Christos because he chucks it around a bit. And there's some real intensity here. So it's a real tough competition, I think.
Right now, I think my perfectionism is dragging me back. You know, with most of my artwork, I can chip away at it over months, and right now, only having 4 hours to make a painting is really challenging me.
Here at Battersea Arts Centre, our semi-finalists are 1 hour into painting drumming legend Nick Mason.
Lucy, I love the fact you're really going for it. The size of the canvas is big.
Yeah.
There's something very subtle emerging there.
Well, we'll see.
Every now and again, I see you sort of give yourself a little minor pep talk. What are you saying to yourself?
I'm so transparent. I'm just saying, just stop a moment. You know, you've got enough time. I think if you are enjoying your painting, that translates to the viewer. So just relax, relax, relax.
How relaxed are you today? How
Really
relaxed can
not.
you be at a semi-final?
Yeah.
Lucy Threlfall is a professional artist who studied art history and traditional painting methods in Florence. The judges loved the power in her heat portrait of singer Celeste, but also the clever use of colour and the way she created a sense of melancholy.
Are you finding him easy to paint?
He's got a very self-contained air about him, so in a way, it's quite hard to find a way in.
Right.
I'm just sort of going gently. I feel like I don't want any hard lines, or if I go softly, maybe I'll capture him.
Yeah. You're fascinating to talk to, Lucy, because I can feel there's so much going on inside you. You know, you're trying to G yourself up, you're trying to slow yourself down.
It's the artistic temperament.
Don't wear yourself out.
I will.
All of today's artists face decisions about how to respond to what's behind their sitter. And one lucky artist seems to have come prepared.
I'd say I'm quite happy with my choice to use gold foil today. I think it's a nice way of complementing the background that we've been given today. And, you know, it's my style anyway, so it's perfect.
18-year-old Raya Johnston is a medical student from London. In her painting of gospel choir conductor Karen Gibson, she used gold leaf and African wax print fabric, conjuring a portrait that perfectly captured the sitter's warmth and luminosity. Raya, how nice to see you again.
Likewise.
Now, I'm looking at what you're drawing there. The background is extremely beautiful.
Thank you.
You've got your fabric here.
Yeah, seeing as it's a pink background, in hindsight, I should have bought more pink fabric, but I managed to find this print here with some pinks in it.
And how do you feel about being in the semi-final?
I think the timing is the only thing that's making it tense for me.
Don't be anxious, you're with friends here.
Yeah, it's true.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So, Ty, it's such a big occasion, the semi-final. We've given them a really iconic figure from an iconic band.
Yeah, I think for all music lovers, a phenomenal sitter to be painting from.
Pink Floyd are a band known for their magnificent light shows, and this is quite an interestingly lit set.
Yes, and I was thinking, if you're at a concert and you think of the drummer at the back on his drum riser, that's exactly how he's lit.
Right.
The lights are coming from behind, and so him being in the shade, just high lit like this, is kind of interesting. We've also used a symphonic gong or cymbal, and if you look through Nick's career, every live show from the 60s to his current band, A Saucer Full of Secrets, he's got that gong behind him. So it's part of his personality.
It's making me want to strip to the waist, oil up, and hit it to announce the beginning of the movie.
Well, when I was asked whether I'd like to come and have my portrait painted, I thought absolutely it'd be a great thing to do, particularly the fact that it's a semi-final, so I'm getting the creme de la creme of the contestants. And, well, I'd turned down Love Island, and I thought I ought to do something.
I feel a bit lucky. I've got the best position. And I love that light on his head. I hope I can do that. I'm going to take some risks, but calculated risks, not too much. I don't want to repeat what happened last time in the semi-final.
Christos Zimaris made it to the semi-final in 2020, but struggled with proportions in his portrait of Elaine Page. He had similar issues with this year's heat portrait of Emma Dabbery, but caught a great likeness, and the judges were won over by his beautiful colour palette and experimental application of paint.
Now, the one thing that we had some questions about in your heat portrait were the hands and the arms.
Yeah.
I don't know how happy you were with them.
No.
No. So you've given yourself hands and arms again today?
Yes.
So
but this time I'm doing them properly.
OK. And you seem like a very relaxed Christos today.
Yeah, because it started well this time.
OK.
I love the colours. and the background is perfect, and I have a good feeling.
OK, well, you know, you've got a good likeness.
Yes.
All the right elements seem to be there at the moment. Don't mess it up.
Thank you so much.
Artists aren't always happy with the position they're given. So some choose to use a photograph to get the perfect angle.
Sarah, welcome back. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, thank you.
Is this a good position?
I did a side profile last time, and I felt that there is just so much to be said in the eyes, especially of Nick. And I've chosen to do a front-on because from where I'm sitting here, they're kind of quite concealed.
And eyes are important.
They
I always know that
they are important to me.
Because when you paint, there's
I work around them.
You work around them?
I work around the eyes.
Professional artist Sarah Harvey is today's only watercolourist. At the Heat, she drew attention to the eyes of model Alexa Chung with a veil of paint, winning praise from the judges for her inventive use of the medium.
I recall when you start laying down the watercolour, it's very loose.
Very. I'm a real believer that something leads you to something else. So
Yeah.
I just leave it to a bit of haphazardness.
Now, how did you feel about the 4 hours in the heat? Is that good for you?
I'd like longer. I do work with layers.
Okay.
So each layer has to dry. Going to get as far as I can through it. And when they say stop, that'll be it.
Okay.
It's risky.
There's a lot to play with. It's going to be exciting. Go on, then.
The artists are reaching the halfway point in today's semi-final challenge.
I was aware that he didn't want to look miserable, so I'm trying to just install a little bit of a smile and quirkiness in there. I'm enjoying it, and that's what I aim to do, so I've won already.
Yeah, a bit of a disaster at the moment. I don't think I'm going to be doing the hands now. The head has just happened to be slightly bigger than I thought. So hopefully I will get through this stage now and then move back to being happy again.
I'm a little bit concerned about how much time's left. I don't even know how much time's left, but I know it's ticking away. I can't paint any faster than this.
Here at Battersea Arts Centre, our artists have been painting music icon Nick Mason for 2 hours.
How's it feeling, Nick? Feeling all right?
Well, I have to say, uncomfortably numb. Thank you.
Today's sitter might be in high spirits, but how do the judges feel about the artist's progress so far?
The semi-final, we're halfway through the day. How are we doing?
It's interesting, the artists today have upped their game, and it's scaring the hell out of me because it's going to make judging incredibly difficult later on.
So let's consider Callum.
Callum's work has just such clarity. It's like looking at a portrait through kind of icy cold water, and yet it still feels characterful.
Callum's portrait refers an awful lot to the computer, but at the same time, there is this sort of space for artistic license that comes in between.
Now, Gabriella, as always, has taken a rather oblique angle.
Yes, she's innovative, interesting, bonkers, but that's what we expected from Gabriella.
The portrait of his face is beautiful. Yeah, the hands are strange. And so I'm not entirely sure, but I admire this young artist for their pure imagination and for the way that they conceptualize the work from the very beginning.
Christos, he's been with us before, but it's a powerful painting already, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Christos is the master of melancholia, and he's got a perfect subject and a quite phlegmatic sitter, and he's caught something about the soul of Nick, and it's a wonderful piece of painting.
And of course, he's much more relaxed today. He knew what he was walking into, and I think it's incredibly promising.
And Sarah, she is our watercolourist. How's she doing?
I really like the way that she's playing around with colour, but not doing it in too crazy a fashion. I wonder if she's playing it a bit too safe. I'm wondering if we're going to get any of the kind of flourishes we've seen her do before.
I think she's at that moment where she's got the likeness, and now she's going to think carefully about what are the other elements that I need to really raise my watercolour above everyone else's.
I just want to see the watercolour go a bit reckless. We're like, where's the jeopardy?
Mark's piece is definitely working for me. And of course, you've got all the geometry there, all the circles that move your eye around the portrait so effectively, and he's got a good likeness, so he's off to a really fast start.
Yeah, I was worried about Mark. I didn't really see Nick inhabiting the space, but actually he's gone back in and now the painting makes sense and it's looking great.
So it's the semi-final. The winner will eventually go on to take a commission from a public gallery. So does that enter into your consideration?
Absolutely. I feel like at this point I'm judging in a completely different way because I feel the responsibility of picking someone who can hang in those hallowed halls with the other artists in there.
We've got 8 artists here who are incredible, and, you know, it's everybody's to lose. They could each win this.
You're putting in a very disciplined performance, I have to say.
Well, I was a little anxious, because drummers are notorious for tapping their feet and their hands and so on.
Why a drummer? What drew you to the drums in the first place?
For me, it was because we wanted to start a band when I was really quite young. But one boy had already bought a guitar, so I thought, I'll play the drums.
Isn't that amazing? That's just completely shaped the entire course of your life, that someone else had already bought a guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, incredible.
I might have been Eric Clapton, though.
Well, you know, there's still time.
Well...
All of today's artists made it this far by creating bold and distinctive portraits. But achieving success under pressure sometimes requires restraint.
Things that prey upon me are self-doubt, and self-doubt tends to manifest itself in overworking things. So I have to step back rather than standing up close and just working and working, hoping that it's going to come. Everything feels like a journey of some sort. It's both inspiring and worrying.
Christos.
Hi.
Sometimes your work, you know, encompasses sort of paint experiments that can become reality and can stay abstract.
Yeah.
And that dynamism is kind of exciting.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So how do you balance along there?
I'm hesitating to take too many risks at the moment because when you take risks,
It
there's
can
a
go
good chance
horribly wrong.
to go really wrong, yes.
As far as I can tell, it's going well.
Yes.
I'll let you continue balancing.
Thank you.
As they enter the last hour, artists must decide how to refine their portraits. For some, that means adding signature elements. For others, it's about refining the likeness.
Now, Lucy, how do you feel you're getting on now?
I think I've been slightly working from 2 different sources too much.
Right.
Trying to capture an expression I had in a photograph, sort of lost it and found it and lost it. I'm still wrestling, but I don't think wrestling is necessarily a bad thing.
No, I'm all for wrestling, as long as you win.
Yes.
There's a lot of white there. We've got white hair,
Yeah.
we've got a white background, we've got a white jacket, a white shirt. How much white are we going to see at the end of the day?
Well, we're going to have white hair, white collar. I'm struggling a little bit with what I'm going to do when I get to the background. I mean,
But
it
what's
worked
the
for me.
danger of leaving it this bright white?
There's a lot of pink in the face. Maybe when I add in the background, it's going to take away from the colours in the face.
Well, it's a big decision to make.
Yeah, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to decide, but it's getting scary.
Sarah, how's it going in Watercolour Corner?
It's all right, you know. It's
Yeah?
not bad.
What's the kind of preparation been for today? Have you had a game plan the last few days? or-
Wow, it's just painty, 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 really.
Painty, painty,
Painty, painty, painty.
Don't get technical on me. I really don't understand this jargon. How tantalisingly close is that final?
It would be very exciting. And it's my birthday in a couple of days, so it'd be a brilliant birthday present.
Oh, OK. Nice emotional blackmail. That's good.
The artists have just over half an hour left to finish their work.
still got loads left to do, so I'm a bit panicked. I think the hands work well at the top because it kind of reminds me of wings in a way. I don't know. I just think it looks good.
Looking at it now, I'm not quite sure that the fabric I chose goes with the whole piece, but it's stuck now, so just going with it.
Right now, I do not like my portrait. I haven't done as much detail on the face as I would have liked to. I might be able to salvage it. I don't know.
Nick Mason has been posing for almost 4 hours. And after playing it safe all day, one artist is ready to let loose.
Trying to create some texture. I put lots of tabs on the painting, and then a bit of water. Then I had to dry it, obviously. Because I can't lift it up, everything would just start running. It's a bit tense at the moment.
I don't feel that I've given him enough form, and those highlights aren't zinging enough. That's for another day, that's another 4 hours.
Artists, you have 5 minutes left.
Not enough time. Am I mad to be using watercolour? I think so. But it's all good fun to live on the edge, isn't it?
Just wished I could have finished, really. But, you know, done what I can. Quite glad it's nearly over.
Artists, your semi-final challenge is over. Please put down your brushes and step away from your portraits.
After 4 hours of uncharacteristic stillness, Nick will finally be able to see the finished portraits and choose one of them to take home with him.
Nick, your exposure is over. How has it felt?
I really quite enjoyed it.
4 hours of your life without music or without cars?
Yeah, quite bearable.
Well, we're going to look at all the paintings in one great swathe of art. So, artists, will you turn round your easels, please?
Oh, wow. Extraordinary.
8 different versions of yourself.
It's quite remarkable. It's almost like a family of me. It's extraordinary because it's me and all my favourite things. With the Racing Drivers Club badge, and love the treatment of the Gong as well. Amazing. I absolutely recognise myself.
Rather soulful, Nick?
Yeah, slightly wistful. It's terrific.
Bigger, darker?
But jollier. Something of my character that I don't see very often in pictures. That's a different view of a man I recognise. The Gong plays a considerable role, adds to the occasion, the atmosphere of it.
I think people are bound to say, why are the hands where they are?
It's a nice idea because that's very much what I do, and it's a really interesting way of seeing myself. It's a different me to the others. The treatment of the Gong adds something to what's going on there. It just adds some atmosphere, I guess. There it goes again, me being overshadowed by my instrument. It's a sort of interpretation almost of the gong. Oh, and it's got my badge in.
Yeah, I made sure to get that little detail in.
It's a good likeness, Nick.
It's a terrific likeness. No, it's lovely.
Thank you.
It's a view of myself that I never see.
I quite like the hint of undress there.
Very, very effective.
The moment of decision has come, Nick.
Well, it's very, very hard. Everyone has something in it that's different. Yep, I think I know what I'd go for.
You made a decision.
Cats.
I was not expecting that at all. The semi-final was a lot more challenging than the heat because it's kind of like the best of the best, so I really tried to push myself to try a new thing. It's just really surprising.
At last, the semi-finalists can unwind with their fellow competitors, and the judges can begin examining today's portraits. So, we have 8 fine portraits of Nick Mason. What do we make of them all?
We had 8 amazing artists this morning, and now, you know, we're even more impressed by them, what they can do under all the horrible pressure we give them.
Let's start with Sarah's watercolour.
I love the sort of trippy, acidic quality in the background. She's quite rigid with it, and then she kind of plays with it, and there's a kind of recklessness that I admire.
And it's a very warm, friendly Nick. I think it's based a lot on the image she took from her phone, which distorts Nick's head slightly. But it's a beautiful painting, and there's no doubt who it is, really.
You gave us a tremendous background today, the colours, the shape of the gong, completely ignored by Callum. Is that a problem?
Yeah, I think Callum is a very sensitive person. Having produced such a sensitive head, I can understand why he thought, actually, I'm going to hold off here.
Callum uses technology and creates something that has a life to it. And also his mark making is really rather poetic. These lovely little squares, the way in which he builds up form is very effective.
Lucy has given us, is it a muddy portrait? Is it overworked?
I do love her colour palette, but fundamentally I think today Lucy had just too much wrestling with the likeness.
I think when it comes too easily, a lot of artists think it can't be right. And so you start working on it to really pin it down, to make it yours. It's full of feeling and atmosphere, but she's lost that painting that she had.
Christos can produce a fine head, can't he?
Yes, it really is. It's incredible to watch him sort of wrestling with himself. And today, I think it's come off.
For me, Christos feels like a controlled explosion. The face is so finely won. And then there's loads of parts of it which are totally bonkers. So that makes Christos really interesting to me, but it's a risky way of painting.
We're often talking about wanting to take portraiture in a new direction. Does Gabriella give us a new direction? And if she does, is it a road you want to travel down?
She hasn't understood that if you put the hands there, the way it is read, it looks like his hands are in the stock. So these things she hasn't taken into consideration. But I think she's a really interesting artist.
I gathered from her that in some way it related to his activity as a drummer.
Yes. I think it's a really interesting head. We've still got that lovely bleached out celluloid feeling. But for me, the hands were a mistake.
Now, this next one is giving me sort of flashback. I was an altar boy, and he's almost like sort of, you know, Jesus in front of Holy Communion or a halo.
Yes.
Is it just me?
It has got a sort of religious undertow to it. I just think the way Marcus constructed this painting is just, everything is masterful, and down to that sort of solemn, thoughtful expression.
I think what's exciting to me is that Mark is an artist who's also experimenting with form, but nothing is at the expense of the pursuit of a great portrait.
What about Rukaila there? Now, she has brought fabric and gold.
And I think she's used the fabric effectively so that we have got that beautiful rhythm that we saw in her self-portrait that gives the picture movement and pace.
But if you just took the head and the gold and the pink background, it's so reduced and understated, but so powerful. I think the fabric is really not that necessary.
So finally we come to Kat, who gave us a profile. She felt like she struggled today. Would you agree with that?
I love Kat's painting of Nick. There's something very sensitive, and I think it's a rather touching portrait.
For me, I guess what I'm missing today from Kat is the idea of her as a storyteller. She definitely made the right decision not to do the fisheye. She embraced the profile, but, you know, is it enough?
Right, well, we have 8 artists. This is the 3rd painting we've got from them now.
Yeah.
So how much weight do you put on today's performance?
I think today is a huge part of it because we were asking them, OK, great, there's no doubt you're a great artist, but what are you going to do today that takes us forward?
For me, it's all about risk. We've certainly got a couple of bankers here, there's no question. But where's the risk? Where's the excitement? Where's the edge?
Oh, you play high stakes.
And let's put this in.
Yeah.
As an alternative.
I have to say that my feeling is that maybe those 2 are not quite up to
this level,
this group here.
I think what these 3 have all managed to capture the sitter, but done it on their own terms.
I also feel that there's a little bit of risk still in there.
Yes, I agree with you. And but 1 out of 3 with a bit of jeopardy, I think
Yes.
it's a nice balance, isn't
Lovely.
it?
Yeah.
Artists, it really is something to have got this far in the competition, and we've really enjoyed getting to know you personally throughout the process.
You know the rules, though. Only 3 of you can go through to the final, and the judges have made their decision. The first artist they have chosen is Callum Stevenson. The second finalist is Christos Zimaris. The third finalist is Mark Oliver.
I'm in the final. Yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. Wow. Let that sink in a little bit.
I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping, but it was so strong, the competition. So I wouldn't have been surprised if anyone went through. I'm just happy to be in the final.
My heart is just beating crazy right now. Me and Christos and Mark earlier were just talking about how each one of us thought that the other would get through into the final, so it's unbelievable that it's actually worked out that way. What?
How wonderful to be going into the final with these 3. We've got fiery, angsty Christos. We've got a little bit of geometry with Mark. Then with Callum, we've got this sort of quiet, methodical approach. They're going to go back to their studios now, make something new for us, and then we've got the final on top of that. It's going to be great.